of my blurbs to one of my little chat groups, this is probably one of the most important hours talks that you're going to be attending at this point in time, because you'll see afterwards how important, how amazing, how effective grounding is. And it's free and it's infinite and all that, which I said in my previous talk. But I did ask people to leave their shoes outside, so. But I'll forgive you, don't worry, you can take them off. If while I'm talking you feel like taking your shoes off, you just do that, because you might feel the urge, okay? I've got some wonderful equipment here as well. We're going to be measuring grounding and seeing the effects of a grounding mat and how it brings down the electromagnetic charge. In the audience today, there's some quite impressive people in terms of chemical engineering, electrical chemical engineering. We've got also Tracy from the electromagnetic frequency EMAG group, and we've got also Lawrence here, who's probably one of the top permaculturists in the country. So before I start, I thought I'd just ask Lawrence Stratum if he could just tell us a bit about what he does. He's from out of town. Very special person, and it's I'm very grateful to have him here tonight. And it just sort of coincides with him visiting here, and there's all sorts of wonderful plans. So I'm going to just ask Lawrence to tell you a bit about what he's doing, and then I'm going to ask Tracy to also just stand up and talk a little bit.
Any excuse to take my shoes off? Thanks for the excuse, Jane.
Okay, cool.
So, my name you know by now. I'm Lawrence, and I'm from KZN, not outer space. Although some people might say it's a similarity.
Yeah.
Wait a second, can you hear me in the back? You're going to make the jokes again?
Not working.
No, I want to keep the room here.
Need to press a button.
Oh yeah, very good. Okay, cool. Alright, so when people ask me what I do, my first answer is usually, or the short answer is, I'm basically an IT guy with a permaculture habit. Okay, so that's how I support my permaculture habit. And I spent many years living off the grid, self-sustaining, learning how to, well, basically live close to nature, and exactly how hard it is to do those kind of things, the amount of energy that's required. And at one point, after a few years of this, I realized that I'm actually not contributing anything to the total solution. I've withdrawn from society, and I'm not having any negative impacts, but we've got to make something of all of this. And I then went back to my previous career, if you want to call it, and I devised a model, a software model, using biomimicry tools that was given to me by a friend and mentor, to align our food production system with the permaculture ethics of earth care, people care, and fair share. And that model eventually came into fruition. But at the same time, in Australia, somebody else had the same vision. And they started on a similar software platform, except they started at the top, we started at the bottom. And about a year ago, we all connected. And the culmination of that is something called the Open Food Network. Now, we're launching Open Food Network South Africa next month. That's September 2015. If you want some information on that, you can go to our website. It's ofn.candu.co.za, and it'll give you more than what I can give you in a minute here. But essentially what we're aiming to do is to catalyze the rapid transformation of our food system into a biophilic one, in terms of, we've devised a model for permaculture production which can be replicated very easily, moving our food security away from the current agricultural monocropping model and areas, and establishing alternatives in urban food lots, as well as peri-urban and rural areas, small micro-scale subsistence farmers, giving them the ability through this technology to collectivize and connect directly with consumers at the end of the day. Bringing prices down, obviously, bringing quality up, because we do adhere to, I'll say, organic standards. That does not mean some kind of certification. Maybe biological standards would be a better word. And at the same time, forging links between people back to their food producer, and by extension back to nature and the earth. That's pretty much it.
Okay, that's great. Thank you. Afterwards, if anyone wants to chat to Lawrence about all of this, Lawrence. It's really, really important in terms of the future of South Africa and small farmers getting together, forming cooperatives and food channeling into one place. And in fact, in Australia, more fresh food is distributed by these open food networks than actually by the top 3 food chains. Yeah, so it's definitely catching on, and there's lots more on that as well. So thanks, Lawrence. Tracy?
Thanks. Good evening. My name's Tracy Lee Dawley. Approximately 5 years ago, I started the Electromagnetic Radiation Research Foundation of South Africa. What motivated me was a personal experience, which was followed by other people coming out the woodwork and telling me how they were being affected by what we're surrounding ourselves with is all forms of artificial electromagnetic radiation. And I'm talking about cell towers, Wi-Fi, cell phones. We're giving our children these almost like they're toys. We're putting them into schools that are having 30 iPads all operating simultaneously on Wi-Fi. And nobody in South Africa at the moment seems to be doing their homework and watching the steady increase in things like autism, obviously ADD, or cancers, or brain tumors, and diabetes, thyroid conditions. And when you look at the studies, where there are now tens of thousands of studies, the Russians started them 40, 50 years ago. They used them in these frequencies in the Cold War. It's been around a long time. The military used them a long time before they were put out to the market as a public convenience, which actually we are now seeing huge effects. So with that, we started this foundation we do free talks to the communities, we do free talks to schools. Actually, the schools have been fantastic. They're pretty good. Unfortunately, a lot of the schools have rolled out iPads, and now they're already seeing the side effects of putting their kids on this type of technology. Many parents are having to remove their children from those schools. I personally removed my son from a school that put in Wi-Fi and iPads, having done the studies. I wasn't prepared to take that risk with him, and I'd already seen the impacts of other children with seizures, etc., etc. We have brought out a scientist who did a talk for us a few years ago, Barry Trower, who had a lot of impact as well in the media. And with our foundation, many of the overseas scientists and doctors have signed on to our foundation. We have 8 scientific advisors now who consult with us. We receive all their papers, we send out newsletters. So if anybody wants to come on to be on our emailing list and receive further information, or require us to come and do a talk at a school or a community that's fighting a tower or deciding whether to do optic fiber towers, we'll come in and suggest which is the best solution. There are solutions. Hardwiring is the best. The more we move away from all this wireless technology, the better we'll become. And talking about many people here interested in plants and trees, I've been photographing trees for the last 4 years and showing the impacts on what these towers are doing on specific types of trees. So thank you very much for the opportunity. Just to say, everything in ground is really important, and that's why I'm here tonight as well, to see if there's any more I can learn.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you, Tracy. Right, so moving on directly into our presentation. For those people who don't know me, I'm a nutrition consulting pharmacist, and I focus on regenerative nutrition because I know that we can regenerate ourselves. In fact, our bodies can actually renew in 365 days. In fact, our intestine, it's a matter of a week or 2, can actually regenerate. So that's what I focus on, getting us back to our original blueprint, getting our DNA back to what it should be after all the abuse that we've given it with the food and the stress and the electromagnetic radiation and all these things, and this wonderful experiment of life that we're going through. So yes, I look specifically at that and look at specific personal nutritional profiles for people. But it doesn't actually only stop at nutrition, because although our food is our medicine is our food, there are these other aspects. And I'm finding that I will have some patients that come and they cover my desk, because I always ask people to bring their supplements and bring their lab reports and things so that I can try and piece it together, because the endocrinologist has said this, the GP said that, the homeopath said this, the pharmacist said that, and no one knows what the other one has said. And these people are coming in with these prescription medicines and nobody's tying it up. So I ask everyone to bring all their medicines, bring their supplements, and I piece the whole jigsaw puzzle together. And then I get some people that are really are healthy, and they're doing everything, like, let's say, according to the book and the green juices, and they are really watching themselves, and they're watching their stress levels a little bit, and this and that, but they're still not quite getting there. So this causes me to do research, you see, because I need to be ahead of what's happening all the time. And one of my strategies for people that come and see me is I always say to them, have some seeds, go and garden. And it's just something that I just love doing, and I go out there and I find it very peaceful, and I love my garden and everything, and it just comes to me to tell people to go and garden. And I knew from my clients also, because I do the veggie gardens, okay, because you can't really separate nutrition from healthy growing of food and healthy soil. So I know from the couple of gardens that I've done that one particular garden, it was about 500 square meters in Kailami. I went there, and I always take my shoes off. It's just my best, because then I'm not inside in four walls and things, and I'm outside in the sun and the air and the birds and everything. And the cows are moving in Kailami and so on. And then I see this is Clyde now, she's watching me, okay? So, and my hand's in the soil. So she starts putting her hands in the soil. So she says to me, Jane, you're not going to believe, I can't remember, the last time I touched soil. So I said, okay, all right, because you don't react, and you carry on. So I said, well, get the egg boxes, and she starts planting her seeds now. So she's actually holding the seed in her hand, and that seed is picking up her DNA excesses and inadequacies, and it's starting to, so intelligent, become actually a seed that's going to grow food. That's her medicine, you see. So this is all happening chemically, alchemically, or whatever in front of me. And then I see her kick her shoes off. So she said, walk barefoot, not even inside. I wear my shoes to the shower. I shower, I put my feet straight back in my shoes, and I go to my bed. Saying, okay, fine. So we carry on, and now she's got sand and water and everything, and it's all over in the toes and the mud and all that. And then we finish, and all perfect. The next morning I get a text message, Jane, you can't believe how well I slept. And that ticks the box for me, because that's shifting someone, and that just shows you what we can do by spending 2 hours outside in the sun. We can actually transform ourselves. And this is what led me then to realize, okay, so I'm actually telling people to get outside and everything, and now what's happening with the earth? And part of studying plants and soil and health and everything is to understand the energy, the electrons and the protons. We're living in a band of protons up here. Okay, so in the atmosphere and above the ground, it's all positive. So we're in an oxidative state, we're in a rusting state. Okay? And if we don't ever touch the ground, we're never getting the ground's negative energy that's coming up to balance us. It's as simple as that. So some people have not touched the ground, well, like that lady, for I don't know how long. Some people never touch the ground for months. Okay, you can all go home now. Okay, that's the message. We need to get these negative energy coming up from the earth to balance us. You can never get too much, because our body just balances and we move on. Okay, now if you think about it, our ancestors slept on the ground. There's still 40 million Chinese sleeping in the caves on the ground. And they found remnants. It was only, I think, 5,000 years ago, the Egyptians, they put us on beds. Now we're upstairs even. So we're even further removed. So we're like really floating. So that's fine, because what happens is at Walida where I work, people just keep coming in and getting anti-inflammatories and antioxidants and anything to reduce this positive realm that we're in, and we keep having to buy it and coming out of a bottle and everything. So let's see and go into the presentation. Stop me, ask questions. This is really a really fun one today. Okay. So I'll answer that plugged in one just now, because it's not really that plugged in. 1 out of every 2 people, 1 in 2 people is currently being diagnosed with chronic disease. I work at the Integrated Medical Center there, and I see people there regularly. Okay, chronic disease means you're at the end of the scale. So your energy levels are right down. It's the cancers, the lupuses, the fibromyalgias, the MSs, those kind of things, the arteriosclerosis, atherosclerosis, all those inflammatory diseases. Okay, 1 in 2. So I said at one of my previous seminars, you know, we are the ancestors of an endangered species, and that came from Ilana. And actually, when you think about it, and you look at our fertility rates, and look at the way our health is going, there's something wrong. Okay, and as I said to you, so I work with people across the board, and the very healthy ones, there's still something missing. So I went and I really did research this. The first thing I did is I came across this beautiful book. Who's read it? Earthing. Okay, by Clint Ober. Who says someone there has read it? Yeah, okay, fine, you've read it. Okay, this is a fab book. Okay, it actually gives it to you in chapter and verse. And I'll get into that now. So there's an increase in the health. The biggest one is inflammation. And most of my patients as well, I say to them, take a photograph now and in 21 days. Because once they're on water with lemon and MSM and fulvic acid and all of that and green juices, the inflammation starts coming down straight away. When you step on the earth, it's immediate. And I'll show you. It's immediate. So we talked about these electrons from the earth. They play a critical role in our relationship with the planet. And this disconnection, everybody, is leading to us being chronically ill. The disconnection with the earth. All right, so let's have a look at this. Now, this is interesting. Direct correlation between the growth of synthetic sole shoes sales and diabetes. That means rubber soles. All check your shoes. Who's got a shoe there without a rubber sole? Like a moccasin with a hide. Remember, it used to be leather uppers and soles. Remember? Don't get that anymore. You're lucky if you get leather uppers. Okay, so we disconnect completely. The earth energy cannot come through rubber. It cannot come through carpets. It cannot come through damp proof. Yes?
Are you suggesting that we can get tailor-made shoes with a specific sole that we can permanently be grounded?
You actually can. And it's at the earthing.com website. You can get these, it's a type of material that's conductive.
They still look aesthetic.
Slip slops. Yeah, they do. They look fine.
Well, I mean, that's the whole thing with Tesla Motors making the electric sports car. It wasn't the electric car. He knew that people wanted the environment, but they also wanted to look cool. That's why it's a success.
Yes, but the people that are looking for these shoes want to feel cool. Yeah.
Will wood work?
Okay, wood, no. It's a non-conductor. Okay, so concrete with damp proof underneath, no, but plain concrete, yes. And grass and soil and stone. Marble or stone or whatever. Perfect. Yeah, okay. So, this is what happened. Directly related, diabetes is not the only one. It's all inflammatory diseases. So we basically lost our electrical roots. It's lots of inflammation, immune system dysfunction, we talked about that. We should have an increased blood flow. That means we should have more nutrition and oxygen to our cells, which we're not getting. We should have increased energy, we're not. If you get on the ground, you will have a better sleep. Interestingly now, this pain and inflammation, it goes almost within 3 days. Even if you buy a grounding mat and sleep on that, and you buy something like a zapper, or one of these other things that I'll demonstrate a little bit later, so that you're permanently getting earth energy. Because the big problem is that we work in buildings, upstairs, there's computers everywhere, there are cell phones everywhere. I mean, I was just at the Durban Sustainable Living exhibition this weekend. 15,000 people came through. Okay, I don't know how many stands there were, and how many people, each with a cell phone. Well, Tracy, I think it was would have been beyond it. Okay, and I wore my little zapper the whole time while I was inside. And when I finished, I went and walked on the beach. Now the beach is perfect because there's a bit of water, and the more water, or that little bit of water, increases the conductivity and increases the flow of the electrons through to you. So I went and did that, and that I think is how I survived for 3 days. Yeah. So it's really it's more chronic than we think. I think if we put on glasses and we could see all the invisible electromagnetic and microwave frequencies and everything, it would be black. I really think it would be black.
I think you'd want to be here.
No, you wouldn't. Yeah. Okay. Well, this isn't scare tactics, it's solutions. Okay. Okay. So some more of them. Okay. Feeling tired, feeling stressed, anxious, premature aging, athletic recovery, and I'm going to come to that a little bit later. Well, we can even look at it now. That Tour de France, that one of those leading teams, and there's DVDs on this. If you go and Google earthing and grounding, you'll find them. And that the one leading group, what they did was at the end of every day, they connected them up to earthing mats, the cyclists. Improved recovery, improved pain and reduced pain and inflammation. Those people were ready to go and cycle the next day. Okay, and they measured the frequencies, they measured their voltage. This is the big thing here. This is the big test, the voltage meter. Okay, so that happened with people. There's lots. There's a man who was a paraplegic for 30-something years. They put him on a grounding seat, put him on a grounding mat when he slept permanently on the ground, and within 6 weeks he got out of the wheelchair. Yeah, and there's a video on that there also, if you have a look. So plants. Yeah.
Jane, sorry, I just wanted to ask you, what is the earthing mat made out of?
It's got silver threads. You can come and have a look.
And leather or?
It's conductivity. No, cotton.
Oh, cotton with
Leather will only conduct if there's a bit of water. So if you've got hide, a moccasin, a shoe, it needs to get a little bit wet. But at least when you're sweating, it gets a bit wet and then it conducts. See?
So, but cotton conducts?
No,
the
it will pass through, but the silver is the thing that earths you, because you put a little alligator clip or a press clip onto the material, and then the silver conducts, and that becomes your earthing mat. And you plug that in, or you put it into the ground. I'll show you in a moment.
Can you put it in your bed?
Yes, you do. You put these things in your bed. Okay, so hold on.
Plug it into what, Jane?
Plug it into the plug. But you check that the plug's
Yeah,
good.
your electric plug.
Yes. But you first check that the plug is earthed. Or otherwise, you get a...
No, it's very valid. So if it's not,
Yeah. So there's a little gadget that you buy when you get your thing. Okay, so this is the thing. This is silver thread in here. And then there's where is it? I don't know, there's a plug somewhere here. Yeah, here. Okay, and then we put this little plug on it. This is plugged in, and you put that on, and then you have the best night's sleep ever. Within 5 minutes.
Congress next year.
Yeah, that would be awesome. And then, as I said, people who back to sleep, people on sleep medication and so on, fall asleep. The man who brought this to our attention, Clint Over, got in his bed with this voltmeter and it went off the grid, went off the reading. That's how unearthed and ungrounded he was when he was sleeping. He then made his own little mock-up earthing mat with duct tape, metallic duct tape. Okay? And he reduced it to 0 and he fell asleep with the machine on him. And it happened the second night again.
Okay. So, it's made of silver. I was thinking like it's little Aladdin's carpet. How much will one of these cost?
Oh yeah, they're a little bit pricey. Yeah, like I think that one's at about 2. Yeah. And then this earthing pad's about 1,200. I got these from a very wacky doctor today. That's all I can tell you. So he's off the job, but he's beautiful. But so he loaned me all of this to come and show us and measure and everything. All right. So I just wanted to say sorry about the plants, because this is also really Corinna. We'll forget we've got a horticulturist here. We've got like everybody's actually special and a professional in their own right here. So I don't want to. But they did examples with sunflowers, and they put 4 into vases, and they put 2 of them, they put a grounding rod into the 2 vases and 2 without. And after about 3 to 5 days, the grounded ones were still perfect, and the ungrounded ones, but they didn't know, so they couldn't give one more love than the other. They didn't know it was cross. And the ones that weren't grounded were literally shriveled up. So that's us. It's absolutely us. So there's hidden potential, basically. All right, so these are what it's worked in plants, animals, and us. The rats, They took 2 sets of rats, put them right near close to each other, so one wasn't more in the sun or not in the sun or anything, fed them the same. Half of the rats were on grounding mats and the other half weren't, and of course obviously the ones on the grounding mats outlived the others, had less sicknesses, less complications, less atherosclerosis, less thickening of the arteries, lower blood glucose levels, lower inflammation, and blood thinning. And I'm going to show you pictures of that. This is what it does. Anyone who's on blood thinning medication, I promise you, you'll be off it in probably 2 days. People with blood pressure, you can be off I'm not even joking, I'm quoting this doctor. Within a day, or 2 days, that blood pressure medicine can go out. Okay, this is what we've done to ourselves. Okay, so how are we doing? Earthing restores and maintains the human body's most natural electrical state, which in turn promotes optimum health and functioning in daily life. So I already had the clue. So now, my patients who come and see me, part of their protocol is to get on the ground, regardless. And I can tell you, I had a Skype call from a man in Pretoria. He was so out of balance. He worked in a company which was downstairs, there was no window. Okay, so his body is not seeing any sun. He ate in the canteen inside for something like 7 years. He got so out of balance that when he got home he was exhausted, so he went to sleep at 7 and he woke up at 12 and he couldn't go back to sleep. And this was happening day after day after day, and imagine his nervous system. Because we need to sleep, we need to rest our nervous system. So he phoned me, so I said to him, okay, explain all this. I said, right, roll up your sleeves, go and grab your lunch tray and go and get in the sun. Roll up your pants, roll up your sleeves, put your feet on the earth. And then I said to him, and then when you go home, go to bed at like 9:30. Go to bed at the normal time, don't think about going to bed at 7. Anyway, I said, phone me in a week. He phoned me within 4 days, he was already reset. He thinks I'm really amazing, but I'm not, because it's natural. So this is how quickly actually we can balance things. Okay. And I'm interested in sustainable things that are natural and don't cost the earth. So our primordial natural energy emanating from the earth is the ultimate anti-inflammatory and ultimate anti-aging medium by that doctor, James Oshman. Okay, the earth gives us food and water. We sit and walk and climb and play and everything on it, and it's got this natural healing power. So we need to reconnect back to Mother Earth. And there's actually further ramifications of that if we connect to the Mother Earth. I'll show you now. The Earth is a giant battery, and it's continually replacing its lost energy. Solar radiation comes through, lightning. There's apparently 5,000 lightning strikes per minute. And there's heat deep down in the molten core that also causes the energy to be replaced. So the Earth is like a big giant battery. And the rhythmic pulsating natural energy flows through the surface and keeps the biological machinery of global life in rhythm and balance for all living species. You know, that just brings me back to pets. What have we done to our pets? And why are they getting our kind of diseases? Because shame, man. They're sleeping in lovely, very soft beds, but there's plastic underneath. And they actually want to sleep outside. And the animals that do sleep outside and not shamed and pampered and everything don't need to go to the vets, and they don't get sick and they don't get cold. The minute you put animals in the barn, you've got to heat the barn. But if you actually left them outside, they'll be fine. Okay, so let's have a look what we're saying here. So there's a collection of electrical circuits. Several trillion cells receive and transmit energy at any one time. Biological chemical reactions like food and water move in and out. So we are basically an electric field. There's a bit of chemistry, but it's basically we are electrical. Okay. So I asked the question there, how strong is your light bulb? I mean, in other words, how bright are you really shining? Because the lower the voltage, the greater your light bulb is going to be actually in terms of health. Okay, because the people who have the low energy are the ones that are generally the sick ones and never on the earth and eating the processed foods and thinking the bad things, and it's a whole vicious cycle that just, circulates down. So, let's just have a look at the conductors you were asking me earlier. So the Earth's frequency of the Earth, these subatomic particles, they're small, they're just the little electrons. The outermost are loose and they're the conductors. So in any electric field, if you think of your science lesson, then you've got the nucleus in the middle and then you've got the electrons going around the outside. The ones that are closest to the nucleus are tight and the ones that are on the outside are ones that are loose, and those are the ones that surface, that then will come and balance us. That's what that means. So the middle ones are just like insulation, and it's also interesting that all our modern electrical appliances are actually earthed. They're semiconductors. Here's our body. It's made of metals and water, and those are both good conductors of electrons. So we need to work on our conductivity. The electrical potential in the day is higher because we need to go and do our activities, and then in the night time it's less. So our electrical energy is less at night. And that's our body's natural rhythm. And if you're not sleeping properly, if you're not sleeping at a time, and I mean this is just an absolute fact, at after 10 o'clock, that's when melatonin starts being secreted. And if you miss that boat, you're going to actually not have the right amount of melatonin getting released. And then when the serotonin starts coming in after that cycle, that whole thing starts getting messed up. And then the cortisol levels start getting messed up. That's a hormone level. And then everything, all the other hormones go out of balance as well. And earthing balances the hormones. Yeah.
So Jen, are you saying then at that specific time that's when melatonin starts to be or produces? And what do you mean if I miss that boat?
Well, if you're too late, then you're only going to get a little bit that day. See, and then the more that you miss the 10 o'clock-ish thing, the more you're going to be out of balance, like that patient of mine. At night. To close your eyes, to be in the dark. I mean, this is one of our biggest enemies ever, because when before when electricity wasn't as available as it is now, we actually started slowing down naturally as the sun went down. You see, so we were with the biological rhythm, the biological everything. But now we are on our screens and the TV and everything else and the phone. So yes, so some people actually leave the light on when they're sleeping, which is not good for melatonin secretion. And some people, what Andrew is saying, is their phone is next to their bed and it's on. Now that's disastrous for your immune system. Flight mode, I can tell you now, there's still EMs coming through. Just get that phone off and go and buy a Verbona alarm clock. I promise you. And if you don't believe that, we can come and test and see just now what it does. Alright, now this is interesting because we've got the energy from the sun and the light coming down, and we've got the energy from the earth coming up. And we live in this... Is it on? We live in this interface. That's where the life force is. So just think about it. If you're inside all day, you're not getting energy from the sun and you're not getting energy from the earth either. So how's your life force going to be? Pretty low. So that's what the chi and the life forces are all about. And the Chinese, their exercises are interesting because they take their shoes off, and it's about growing that root, into the earth. Okay. So this is all background earthing. It protects the body's bioelectrical circuits, and it facilitates the free electrons. Okay, this is an interesting one. So this is what we're going to measure just now. We want a zero reading on this voltmeter. And I'll ask some of you to come up. This voltmeter is going crazy. It's going from off the grid down to 400, back up to 800 because of the frequencies that are around here. So thanks for keeping your phones on. Okay, but what I'm saying here is this is a man wearing shoes, rubber soles, okay? And he's sitting on plus 350 volts. Some of you might be higher. There's a person without on the ground, and they look at that natural 0 volt situation here. That's what we're aiming for.
Jane, so I just want to clarify, does that have to be on the earth? Because here we're on the first floor.
There's nothing coming through here. There's damp proof, So we've got our shoes off and we think,
But so-
we think we could, but it's
Just
nothing's
symbolic that you're doing it, but it's actually not doing anything.
Okay, so there's lots
No,
of
but they
things.
get like thick black. Like you've got to clean them.
You know what you can
But
tell
you're also
them?
concerned about
You
like,
can
I
tell
don't
them
know,
you're
like
going to live until 103 and they might get cancer at 40, so they can deal with it.
well, it's like new friends. I'm talking about the hygiene. But never mind the friends, we can get those. We'll talk about the hygiene. Like, I don't want to catch like a disease walking in Luke and Pay.
Okay, this is a reality, okay? You don't want to do that. So you put your shoes on then, okay? And then you come home and you take them off. There are serious things as well. When you go into that friend's house, you ask them what they cleaned the floor with. Because I'm not going to walk on a floor with bare feet if they've used chemicals, because that's going to go straight into me. I'm not going to walk along the pathway at the beach if they've sprayed the trees and the pathway. I'm not going to do that either. That poison is going to go straight into my feet. So I'm selective, and I will wear my rubber shoes where I need to. Sorry, that's definitely. But don't get tense with your friends. I mean,
No,
just
I'm not worried about the friends. I'm worried about the dirtiness on my feet.
you've got to be responsible and be discerning. You don't want the worms and things and that's the ghastly stuff.
I don't mind the worms so much.
Parasites, I don't want those. Okay, so we're aiming for 0. We'll measure just now. And this is our friend Leonardo da Vinci, beauty and vitality are gifts from nature for those who abide by her rules. And it's simple as that. Get on the ground, eat the greenish, rawish kinds of foods, the natural stuff, and you'll be fine. Illnesses don't come out of the blue. It's daily ignorance of nature which accumulate and end up in illness appearing. Okay? Oh, Max Planck. All right, what he did, this was an interesting research as well. He put someone in an underground room that was completely shielded off, so no energy could come through there. That person got sick from head to toe. All right, and then they pulsated earth frequency in only, and the person got well again. Our body clocks in every 90 seconds. It does it almost like a GPS. Every 90 seconds, it's looking for where it is. So shame, it's missing all the time. Okay, in our foot, there are 6,000 nerve endings per centimeter squared. 6,000. And I sent out a mailing for those of you that were following the mailings, and there was one that actually looked at underneath the feet and all the different body areas, similar to reflexology, but it was on the receptor sites, what it does. So that's huge. David Wolf says shoes are the most seriously bad invention ever. Marika Sorobos, who's one of our reporters, says that this shoes have been the biggest medical experiment ever. Where do you spend most of your day? Are you touching the dirt, the cement, the marble, and the stone? Okay, so the shoes are the big problem on that level. The Egyptians put us on the beds. Our houses are all insulated. We talked about the animals being healthy, and then here's this website where you can find a lot of this information and more. Okay, this is the man, Clinton Over, who made this metallic duct tape bed. So the chemical engineers and people who know about electricity here will know. So he basically made a grid with metallic duct tape, and then he took an alligator clip, which is one of those little clips that you do that, and he clipped it on, and he then plugged it in. Or I think he took a cable and put it in the earth, and that was awesome. Because when he saw this voltmeter, that's what he then did. And then they developed these nice earthing mats after that. So we want 0 reading. You sleep better, the melatonin's better, and he found that there was an immediate improvement, or basically stopping, of the chronic pain. And this chronic pain is also, if it was injury-induced, or even an operation-induced, it also reduces. So it's not just pain that we don't know of. Okay, now look at these interesting things here. This was 30 minutes of being in the sun. The blue one was before the sun, and the colored one, the orangey one, is after the sun. Now look at the inflammation. You can see here how much, you can see there to here. It's come down 30 minutes. Okay, the pain and the inflammation is reduced. And also, this is infrared camera.
So like the blue's bad means they're cool, and the green's like fun.
Not funky, it's just a colder vibration, lower vibration. This is a much higher vibration. Okay. Here's another one, and I found this one. This is all in the book, by the way. So look here. There's whole pieces of the hand that isn't even able to photograph. There's no energy. There's pieces of the foot that are missing. Biting his feet. So after 30 minutes, can you see how the whole body comes to life?
Or is it 30 minutes standing on the mat?
No, on the ground.
On the ground. Oh, just on the ground.
Okay, now this is the big one. This is the live blood cell analysis. These are 3 different examples. The more the cells clump together, the more unhealthy, the more the food and the oxygen can't get to the cells. Okay, so in all of them, this is where it was agglutinated, and that was after 30 minutes in the sun. Can you see the picture?
Jane, I just want to be a devil's advocate, but if you stand in the sun, you get quite warm, and wouldn't your blood flow quicker? Could that not loosen up the things as opposed to being, did they come from a warm room into the warm sun, or were they like somewhere cold and then went into the hot sun?
Well, I've just said to you that we're in between the sun and the earth, so we're living in that interface. So the sun's going to have some effect, obviously, but I mean, what they're measuring here is the earthing. And if they do this and repeat it inside on earthing mat, it will do the same thing. But the sun is obviously, it's very, very important. Okay, so who's not convinced anymore? Who's still thinking, no?
Well, Jane, you look pretty good for your age. If you just tell them how old you are, they'll know it works.
Thank you. Right, when you're grounded, you're just hoping I don't ask you to come and get measured, eh? When you,
Depends on what
okay, when you're grounded, you don't have a charge, so this voltmeter is going to be 0. Okay. Inflammation is free radicals, we've talked about that, and we don't want to keep going to the shop for antioxidants. Grounding reduces the alternating current voltages, and there's that umbrella effect which I showed you. Okay, this affects directly our DNA and our epigenetics. And remember, our DNA is everything, and from the people that have listened to a lot of the talks, we are 90% microbial. And we are 1% of our own DNA, the rest is the microbes' DNA. So this kind of effect is disconnecting even the microbes from the rest of the microbes. In the microbes in the soil and the trees and everything. So we have to be connected on all levels. If we put our feet on the earth, just think about it, we're connecting with everybody as well. Better than Facebook. Okay, so the environment affects the protein around the genes as well, and switches the genes on and off. And if we're not earthed, dangerous things happen on the genetic level, and they get passed down generation after generation. So, there we go, Tracy. Earthing and grounding, it trumps electromagnetic frequencies. The radiation from the phones, the microwaves, the cell phone masts, all those kind of frequencies, radio frequencies. It actually helps you defend yourself, build up a defense. In other words, the more towards zero you are, the more uncharged you are, the more you're going to be able to cope with the odd cell phone near you. Okay. So we want to aim for that. Significant increases in brain activity and muscles in seconds. In seconds. And I'm sure I'm coming there, but basically what it does, it relaxes your sympathetic nervous system instantly. And allows the parasympathetic, which is the calming one, to come into balance. We're in fight and flight mode all the time. We're running, we're stressed, that's the sympathetic. What grounding does, it reduces that right down and brings the parasympathetic up so we're in balance. So our nervous system benefits immediately. Okay. It energizes the major acupuncture channels, helps cardiovascular, respiration, the nervous system, increases blood and food and oxygen consumption, increases our metabolic rate. How many people are stuck with metabolic syndrome today? The trauma, there's less inflammation, white blood cells, decrease anyway. They would increase. Just recovery increases and less nighttime pain. There's metabolic syndrome, increase in minerals and electrolytes. Now that's a huge thing because we are mineral on a chemical level, we're mineral. So we're electrically charged, we're made up with microbes, but we also have a chemical aspect which is our minerals. So you get a better mineralization if you ground it. Those rats that lived forever on the same food were far better mineralized, their bone density was far better than the ones that weren't. Thyroid hormone, this is an amazing one. And if you're on thyroid therapy, I'll talk about it at the end again. Watch your dosage because it's going to improve considerably and very quickly. Aging. So, we've got a better immune, we got our biological clock is set, better premenstrual, menopausal, all of that. No, well, beware, because if you go on the ground, to start slowly. If you're on diabetic insulin or glucophage, be careful. Or insulin, thyroid medication, anti-inflammatory medication, just be careful. Start slowly and monitor your dose. If you're on multi-medicines, then I think you must work with your doctor and tell him or her what you're doing. Okay. So, it's better to connect, to be plugged into the earth as opposed to being plugged into the plugs. Easy, inexpensive, infinite. The ground, the water, sap is good. Wet bark. If you hold a leaf between your fingers, you ground it. Green stems, but not the hard trunk. That trunk needs to be damp. You can get these grounding sheets, mattresses, mats, patches, pet pads even. And the shoes we talked about earlier. Okay. So then, I want to show you some of these things now. What's the time? Let's just see. Okay, got a little bit of time for me to show, and then we're going to go on. Tisha's going to entertain us with some grounding techniques as well. And so maybe I should just, I'm just going to put this down now. There's some other things that are useful. This is a TENS machine. And you hold it, and it will also give you earth energy. I don't know which one to put. It will also give you earth energy.
How many minutes are we looking at per day? Like I know with vitamin D they say 15 minutes. With this, how much do you recommend?
With grounding? Well, it's going to be on an individual basis, and about depends on how much time you can. Someone like Lawrence can move his office onto the ground, but I mean we all can in a way. So it just depends. But I mean, I don't know. I can't give you an answer. Sorry, but yes, I can just tell you what half an hour and an hour can do. Yeah.
So Jane, could you not use crystals for grounding, like black tourmaline or jasper, bloodstone?
They will assist you.
If you walk around with those.
Yeah, they're going to assist you. The same as when I'm walking around and I've got one of these on, when I'm in my office or in my car or in the shopping centres. They will help you, but there's nothing better than. Okay, so hold on. This is the machine.
Jane, sorry, that little zapper of yours, is that the same sort of model that Dr. Robert Beck did?
I don't know, but it comes like this. And you can actually put 2 electrodes and you can do your whole body in all various different places. And what these things and these machines do actually is the water in our body is made up actually of triangles. A triangle that way and then a triangle that way and this way and that way. And when you use these machines, they get all the triangles into place and then they shoot out bacteria and toxins and free radicals into the lymph or the blood. You need to drink a lot of water because then you basically flushing them out. So this is the theory behind these.
Robert Beck and Dr. Hilda Clark were
Okay.
quite involved.
Something like this. Yeah. So this is one of them, which I use for healing. And then, as I say, I've got this little one here, and my friends from Organized Africa make a blue box. And there's 2 copper little electrodes, I suppose. Is that the right word? And it's got to then touch your body. These 2, and you can set it on different frequencies, and you can trick the bacteria, trick the fungi.
That is definitely Robert Beck and Robert Clark.
Yeah, it's very similar to the clock. Thanks. Yeah. So that's available. which I like because I can get through Sandton City a little bit easier. Okay,
Where do you connect? On what part of your body is it advised to?
anyway, depends what I'm wearing. So you could clip it in here to your inside of your belt area here, but as long as it's touching your skin.
Where do you get them and how much do they cost?
They are 700 rand, and you can, I know we'll either have them. Okay.
And you can't overdose on it.
Because your body will only take, it's like the earth. You'll just take what you need and that's that.
Maybe your charge is that's what it's going to get optimized in the passing that happens with it.
Yeah. And you can, I mean, the research is all there. So those are the nice things. And I still need to come and measure, and we need to see what we're doing here. But maybe I should call everyone up. But just before I do that, these are the kind of things that you can get. And if you want, we can put an order together and just import them and bring them in and share the kind of thing. So this is a nice little one. This is a wrist thing, and it's got a splitter, so you can actually put you and your cell phone on it, or you and your partner when you're sleeping or whatever. You connect it to there, and then you're really connected. You're really connected there. So this is how this one would work, and you would have the other little unit on here. So when you're working, you don't want the zap on you, and you don't want anything on you and stuff. This is perfect. Okay, and it's connected here and it's plugged in.
To the Mac or to a plug? Just to a plug.
Okay? You don't need to, plug it in there, it's plugged in here. This is working now.
Do you have one which can go 3 stories now when I'm in the office?
Yes, you can. What do you need?
Use the Wi-Fi. What's the problem?
You can plug it in there. Yes. But you can get this. You can get a long thing like this. You can get a long thing whatsoever. And then you can actually get a long one. You can get a long one with a rod. You can get one with a rod that goes into the earth. It goes out the window and down.
Instead of the plug. Instead of a plug.
No, instead of the plug. And that might just be a good idea if you haven't. But most of them. Yes, of course. You can put it in a pot plant. You can put it anywhere.
If your neighbor has, let's say you've switched your Wi-Fi on, but I see this on all of the different sites that I work
Okay,
on.
here's a good question.
And then you've got everybody else's Wi-Fi overlapping on yours. So even though you've turned yours off in the house, your neighbor's Wi-Fi is coming through. Does that sort of negate it a little bit?
Can you sleep with that and you don't fall out of bed?
Yes, this is the whole point. So you and your beloved get linked up, and one's on the one side and the other's on the other side, and then good luck. Okay, so that's the point. But also you can put your cell phones, you can with the alligator clip, you can put it on in your car. You can clip your car, you can clip yourself to your car and everything. And then there's one here also, this is my favorite. Right, this. You connect to your car, and this thing flaps on the tar and grounds your car. How's that? Okay? One of each. So just give me a list at the end, and you can order. So that's great. Okay, and then then there's also this thing. This will impress your friends. So this you'll have your shoe on, okay? And some serious stories. So then you've got to forget about this blue thing. But then you see if you've got your shoes on, then you earthed. It's got this is an earthy piece.
Does that go inside or outside?
Outside.
I was going to say I got like an ankle sprain.
It's a soft thing.
Only on one.
It's a soft thing. You only need one. Right, so now who's going to come up here before we have tea? Who wants to come and measure? Just take your cell phone away. I don't want the cell phone here. My cell phone's on Okay. Oh, no, that's okay. Okay. Do you want to come and see, or do you want me to show you? I'll tell you what. Let's show you.
We want a large sample size.
Yeah, I'll leave that to you, man.
If she kicks a bucket, I want to know that.
You mean like a lobotomy? Yeah. That's a real reset, eh?
Maybe some of those.
Okay, so now, what you've got to do is you've got to hold this. And let's see what that reading is. Can you see?
It's coming up 3, going up.
Whoa! If you go stand on that side, then I don't have to look past you. Okay, so it's sometimes it's 1.6, sometimes it's down to 3. You see, there's all these cell phone things. So you can take an average, maybe the average about, I don't know, 700. Now you need to reach over and touch this, and I want you to watch the voltmeter. Look at that.
Wow.
Okay. So this is, so it's gone to almost 0.3. When I last looked.
What is she touching?
What
She's
is
touching
that?
an earthing mat. Sorry, she's touching an earthing mat.
Oh wow. Which is plugged in.
Which is plugged in. It's off now. But this you can put at the bottom of your bed. You can put it in your car. You can put it when you're on your computer. You can put your feet on it. You can put your computer on it. And it's got a little cover that actually goes over it as well. So you can play with that, and the more you hold your hand, the more it's going to come down. See, so you could sleep with this, or you could sleep with one of these things.
Or you can sleep with your husband.
So it's the most bulky, most beautiful.
Lots of good things.
All right, anyone else want to test? Okay.
Anyone else want
Right, so you hold that thing.
Now, there we go, off the charts.
You've got quite a lot of disturbance, eh?
People stop doing that.
Okay, now you touch the mat. Job doesn't matter. It's 0.4. And then the longer you hold your hand there, the more you start getting fed the electrons.
Oh, sorry, we must all be the 0.4 then. You know when you're weighing food at the shop, there's the weight of the bowl. That's your food.
Okay, well done.
All right, so that's the thing. We can come and say afterwards. Do you want to also have a test? Okay, then hold that there. You haven't got your phone or anything on your head.
It's barefoot. She walked it.
So you've got low to start with, so just put that on there. 0.4, 0.43 for 0.42. So good. Okay, so that's basically it. I mean, is anybody confused about the benefits of the earth? Okay? I mean, who's going to go for this now and decide, you know what, to hell with buying stuff out of bottles and I'm going to actually empower myself and take now. Who's going to do something about it? Let me hear what's calling. Okay, here's one of our special people. I said I wasn't going to say it.
That's
I
okay.
can't not because it's too marvelous, and I think you should really just stand up and share your story if you don't mind.
I've lost 18 kilos since May. I've been on Jason Bale's 28-day juice detox. I've changed my whole way of eating. I've stopped eating meat, fish and chicken because it's got steroids in. I had diabetes too, high blood pressure, everything's gone. Wow.
So the next step we get on the earth and even more inflammation will go. That's magnificent. Yeah.
The question about static electricity, you know, we build up all the static. I just want to know, obviously when you touch something else or something, is that actually the release of all that bad energy when it's like sparks up there?
Got the chemical, electrical
Those
engineer.
are the positive ions that float around in the air. They get drawn into your body.
Stand up.
They get into your body. So, you know, when you're walking around, if you've got rubber shoes on, things like that, you touch somebody else and they're connected to the earth. You know, you're going to get that discharge.
Okay, so it's a discharge of the bad
It's
energy.
the discharge of the positive ions. And
Okay.
it's the positive ions that become the free radicals that get into all the immune system and into all our cells as such. Because everything you are an electromagnetic vibration machine.
And also like when you touch metal or whatever, you always like
Well, that's because your static build-up is too great. It's far too great. So it's important for you to discharge. And if you're in an environment where you're getting a lot of that build-up, you need to discharge. Even with these simple little wristbands that you put on and connect to the earth, because those are the free radicals that cause all the dis-ease that we have in our bodies, all of it. Yeah, our bodies are perfect. It's just the dis-ease because of all the other external stuff that we get influenced by.
Yeah. I find working in a corporate environment, like you said, you work at the third floor, whatever. I find it I'm walking around and shopping, all the time.
So it will be less if you get one of those gadgets. I strongly recommend that because we're spending a lot of time in these offices that are really exploding. And then again our bed. So I also measured on my bed, and I mean it's off the scale. So these things are definitely helping. Oh, by the way, oh my gosh, I dug this huge hole in my garden to line. So, line my hole. Seriously, you know what? So you make it like a nice earth bed. Yeah. So now I think what we're going to do is we're going to ask Tish to come up, because Tish has got something really exciting to share with us. You're on the ground, right? And Ilana's going to introduce Tish.
All right, so we're bringing the shamans up now. My name is Ilana. We welcome Tisha up this evening now, because grounding is a very big part of any shamanic tradition. Now, Tisha is going to be sharing a great gift with us tonight. She's going to be sharing a shamanic grounding technique with us, and she has studied in the Native American tradition. So I hope you enjoy this. Just before I hand over to her, just to let you know, after Tisha's shared with us, we'll have our lucky draw for the evening. And so please don't run away. And then we'll, I'm sure, if those of you that want to be measured, and those of you that want some electric shocks, we can organise that too. And then please do join us afterwards for some food, because they've organised some beautiful food downstairs that will be for sale. And it's always wonderful to support our beautiful venue, and then we can get to know each other, because I see there's some wonderful new faces here tonight. So let's hand over to Tisha, and let's give her a round of applause. Good evening. Beautiful earthlings. Joanne, thank you for sharing this
Sorry, we can't hear.
So, grounding has to do with how we relate to the universe, and especially in cities, people are disconnecting from the earth, and we have to get back to the earth again. And they are stuck in their heads, constant mind chattering and stress, worrying. That's what we do all the time. So we have to get back to the earth again. And doing so, naturally we will get in touch with ourselves again. We find ourselves stretched thin and pulled in a million different directions, but none of those are pulling us back into the earth again. And when you look at that, we need that earth energy. That's a free gift from Mother Earth to us. So it's a win-win combination. And the more grounded you are, the bigger spectrum of energy you can hold in your awareness and in your consciousness. So when you need to ground, when you're out of sync with yourself, if you're scattered, dizziness, you will know. There's no right or wrong way to ground. Just find what works the best for you. I think, okay, we will do afterwards a grounding journey, just to get everything after all those, just to get grounded and connected to your body. But I'm sure you know all these grounding techniques, but here are a few. If you just have a few seconds, do a quickie. Just look for a spot of grass,
take off your shoes and wrap your feet around it. The important thing is intention. If you don't have the intention to really connect with the earth, just wasting your time. And keep it simple, because we don't need to have, or to do complicated. We don't need that. The earth, it's simple energy. So, for me, a powerful one, if you lie flat on the ground, on your stomach, belly to belly, all those physical pain, sorrow, sadness, negative energies, let it go. Just let it go into Mother Earth, where her minerals will disperse of it, and be open. She might have a message for you. And then, if you have a stone, it doesn't have to be a crystal, just a smooth stone to fit in the palm of your hand. Put it in your car or on a desk at work. And if you felt overwhelmed, stressed, just breathe into that stone. Breathe all your energies into that, negative energies. And just know it's gone. Just put it in the ground for overnight, once a week, or once a month. And yeah, then there's when you go, we can ground with the elements. And that's pretty amazing. Look at the sun. Feel it on your skin, and feel the strength and rejuvenating your body. Feel the wind blow through your hair. It clear your mind, all those negative thought patterns. Purify your thoughts, and it anchor you in the present moment. Drinking water. Feel the water go through your whole body, nourishing all those cells, and you will feel emotionally balanced, because emotions flow like water. And then the earth. There you can do the tree of life. Stand with both feet on the ground and imagine your roots growing inside, deep into Mother Earth, and everything that don't serve you anymore, that you don't need in your life right now. Set it down into Mother Earth and just feel that healing earth energy coming up through those roots, through your body, till you feel connected to yourself again, refreshed. There's washing away. You can do that in the shower. So all of these is just 5 minutes and you're grounded. Washing away, when you just visualize the soap, not just pulling the dirt from your body, but also those heavy, excessive energies from deep within. Pulling it out and leaving your energy levels balanced again. So visualize it turning black, the soap turning black, and there it goes through the drain. It's over, it's done with. There is the fire or a candle. You can look at the flame, let your eyes go soft and blurry, and project all energies, negative thoughts, anger, all emotions that don't serve you anymore. Project that in that flame, because fire is for transformation, so it helps you to transform your life. So it's not a big thing, it's simplicity. That's all we need. So are you okay when we do a grounding journey? Is it okay? Okay, I need you to just sit with one foot on the ground, arms and legs uncrossed, and now don't fall asleep, and then just close your eyes. Okay? So I want you to take 3 deep breaths. In and out. In and out. And again, in and out. want you to concentrate on your body. Slowly let it relax. So concentrate on the top of your head. And let all those nerves relax. Going down to your eyebrows and your eyes. And just let it go soft. Go further down to your mouth, your cheek, your chin. Let it become heavy. Going down to your neck, your shoulders. Go down to your arms, elbows, your hands. Let it become heavy. I want you to relax those muscles in your stomach, your pelvis, your buttocks. Let your hips begin to sag and fall open. Carry down to your legs. Release all those tension, your knees and your feet. You are now so heavy, so relaxed. So take one deep breath, deep into your stomach, and exhale fully. So I want you to visualize golden and silver roots entwining your ankles, growing from your foot down into Mother Earth, deep down. You are now anchored for this journey. So visualize your body as a tree trunk, going down from your feet, through the floor, breaking through the earth, traveling downwards, going down through the earth, till your roots breaking through all the layers of sediment, layers of bedrock, going down, down, till you reach the center of Mother Earth, the core. And when you reach this core, I want you to take a look. How does it look like? Is there a crystal cave? Is there magma flowing? Just take a look. Visualize your roots circling around this core, draping over it, hugging it. The energy at the core of Mother Earth is one of the purest and powerful energies. And visualize it as a white, strong current. So with each in-breath, consciously feel this healing earth energy flowing up through your roots, up and up through your trunk, going up through the floor and entering your right foot, flowing up through the right side of your body to your crown chakra, crossing over to the left side of your body, and flowing down, exiting again into the earth through the sole of your left foot, down through your trunk, through your roots, down to the core. I want you to stay in these cycles of up and down till you feel relaxed, balanced, and connected to your body again. Slowly pull your trunk up again. Up through the floor. You are now fully in your body again. Keep your eyes closed and feel the heavy weight returning to your body. Take one deep breath. When you're ready, you can open your eyes. Wiggle your hands and your toes. Everybody with us again? Thank you.